Om Vajra Sattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajra Sattva Tenopa Tishta Didro Me Bhava Soto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsam Sarva Karma Sutsame Citam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 ho Bhagava Sarva Tatagat Vajra Mame Munsa Vajra Bhava Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Eho Shude Soha Yamo Shude Soha Ram Ho Shude So Lamo Shude Soha Bamo Shude Soha Eyam Ram Lam Bam Shude Soha Om Muni Mahamuni Shakya Muni Soha O Ye Dharma Hetun Prabhava Hetun Teshan Tata Yawa Data Teshan Chayo Niroda Evam Vadi Mahashrama Naye Svoha O Chönam Tamche Gyule Jum Te Gyu Deshin Shekpe Sum Gyula Gokpa Kaimba Gejon Chembo Deke Sum Gejon Chembo Jingilo Gejon Chembo Ngodrup Sol Gejon Chembo Trashisho. Sangye chedan soge chanamla chancho pardo dani kyapsu chi dagi chinso gibe sonamgi trola pinchira sangye druparishu sangye chedan soge chanamla chancho pardo dani kyapsu chi Dagi jinso gibe sonamgi Rola pinchira sangye druparish Sangye chedan sogi chonamla Chancho pardo dani kyapsochi Dagi chishe gibe sonamgi Rola pinchira sangye druparisho. In the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, I take refuge until enlightenment. For the practice of generosity and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. So yesterday, we went through question number 8, and actually, as we saw yesterday, question number 8 is, we need just to correct the fact that question number 7 is only the A, and the part B of question number 7 goes directly to the part of question number 8, no? And so we have question number 7, what is also the principal factor that pulls us out of samsara? So what's the main antidote to get out of samsara? And the answer, which goes as answer number 7, which the main method is the realization of emptiness, basically, okay? Of the correct view of reality. The selflessness of the lack of inherent existence of self and phenomenon. Then question number 8, it's regarding directly how to develop bodhicitta. Because before here, we had another question which was asking, question number 6 was asking, okay, what is the main cause for enlightenment? The main cause of enlightenment is bodhicitta. Okay, even though the main cause of enlightenment is bodhicitta, the main antidote to get out of suffering is the correct view of reality. Okay? But as the main cause for enlightenment is bodhicitta, how to develop bodhicitta? Okay? And there we have 2 main methods to develop bodhicitta. One method is called the 7 causes and result. Gyunre Mengadun, the instruction of the 7 causes and result. And the other method is called Dakshen Nyamje, which means exchanging oneself with others, equalizing and exchanging oneself with others. Dak means oneself, Shen means other, Nyam means to equalize, Je means to exchange. Dakshen Nyamje. So to equalize and exchange oneself with others. Okay? So the question number 8 is regarding the first method, which is the 7 causes and result to develop bodhicitta. And the question number 9 is regarding the process of exchanging oneself with others. Okay? But before we go to the question number 9, I would like just to go back a little bit to the question of yesterday. And the process that we have to develop the 7 causes and result. We have 7 causes and 1 result. Okay, here there are 2 different ways of seeing it. There are 6 causes and 1 result, or 7 causes and 1 result. The way how I see it when I studied it is that the best way is seeing that we have 7 causes and 1 result. Okay, so the 7 causes are. But before that, one thing that is very important for us to understand is that bodhicitta will not come like this. Okay? Bodhicitta will not come from one moment to the other, just like, okay, one day I wake up in the morning, or I go to the initiation, or I receive a blessing, and suddenly I develop bodhicitta. It will never happen. Bodhicitta would only come through a gradual process of developing our own mind. So it's a process of gradually developing the qualities, and up to the moment that we can develop that state of consciousness that is so-called bodhicitta. Okay? This mind that we take responsibility upon ourselves to help every sentient being, and we develop the determination to get out of suffering in order to help everyone. Okay? That's bodhicitta. In order to develop that, there are 2 different methods, but it's a gradual path. Okay? So from the moment where we are right now, that we are selfish, infantile beings, there is a process through which we can go that is possible to develop bodhicitta. That's why it's possible, because there is a process. It's gradual. It's not like from one day to the other. Okay? So, the first way how to do that is what's called the 7 causes and result, the instruction of the 7 causes and result to develop bodhicitta. The second one is equalizing and exchanging oneself with others. Both methods are valid. We can use both together, which makes them more powerful. That's what we do in our tradition, in our lineage. Okay? But let's explain briefly one, and then we go to the other. The first one, it's said to be, we have the 7 points, which are Marshe, Tinden, Tinso, Yuon Jampa, Ningje, Laksam, Chanchubgisem. Which is, Marshe means recognizing all sentient beings as our mother. Recognizing that every sentient being has been our mother at some point of our lives. Okay. Tindemba, recognizing the kindness of sentient beings towards us, of all our mother sentient beings towards us. Recognizing every sentient being has been very kind towards me. Third point, Chinsoa. As they have been very kind to me, the third point is to develop the wish to repay back the kindness that we have received. The fourth point, Yuongi Champa, is to develop Yitu Onwa. It means Yi means mind, On means like attraction somehow. So it means to develop sympathy towards all sentient beings. So first, all sentient beings have been my mother. They have been very kind to me. I want to repay back their kindness. So I develop sympathizing love towards them. I like them. Okay? The fifth point is called Ningje, which is compassion. As I like them, as I want them to be happy, I don't want to see them suffering. Okay? The sixth point is called Laksam. Laksam, the translation of Laksam, it is extraordinary attitude or mind, extraordinary mind, which is the determination, I will do something to take them out of suffering. The difference is that compassion is just the wish that others stop suffering, but I don't do anything for that. Why? Not because I don't want them to stop suffering, but because I do not believe that I can do something. Laksam is when I say, I can do and I will do anything that is possible in my possibilities to help others. It's when we take upon ourselves the determination, okay, to help others. It's the difference what we may call passive compassion and active compassion. Normal compassion is just, I wish you to be free from suffering. Laksam, we could call it active compassion, is I will do anything possible to take you out of suffering, to help you to stop suffering. Okay? That's called Laksam. From Laksam, we go with the sixth. We go to the seventh one, which is called Bodhicitta. Because I want to help every sentient being to get out of suffering, what's the only way how I find to do that? By reaching enlightenment myself. Okay? At this point, there is a discussion which is the seventh point of the cause and result, which is bodhicitta. Is it a cause or is it a result? I believe it is a cause. Why? Because we train in bodhicitta. As the result of training in bodhicitta, we will develop the true bodhicitta. In the beginning, it's just a process of training in bodhicitta. Okay? So the result of Laksam, of this active compassion, is not bodhicitta. From that, we will train in bodhicitta as a result. And then by training in bodhicitta, then we will develop the true spontaneous bodhicitta. So at that point, we develop what is called in Tibetan Purshingishumbe Rotabu Janchup Gisem, which is the bodhicitta that is similar to the taste of how do you call it, around the bark, how do you call it? The skin. Okay, when you need to peel the skin of a fruit, right? You have the skin, the part around, okay, of sugar cane. Okay, because when you eat, I don't know if you have ever eaten sugar cane like this. In Brazil, when I was a kid, we eat very often sugar cane. When you eat sugar cane, normally first you take out the part around, which is already sweet, but is not as sweet as the part inside. Okay, the middle part of the sugar cane, the center of it, inside, that's really sweet. The part around has the same taste. It's not like, for example, there are some fruits that the peel around, it's very bitter and inside is sweet, right? Sugar cane is not like that. Around, it's also sweet, but it's not as sweet as the part inside. Okay? So what does that mean? The bodhicitta that is like the peel of sugarcane, like the taste of the peel of sugarcane, means it's similar like the actual bodhicitta, but it's not the actual bodhicitta. Okay? So what does that mean? This is the moment when spontaneously we have this strong determination to help all sentient beings, but we do not yet have spontaneously the determination to reach enlightenment ourselves in order to help other sentient beings. We do not believe yet in ourselves enough. So the process of developing bodhicitta is, first we need to take away the distance between ourselves and others. How? By recognizing that we have had infinite lives. And in every life that we had a mother, we had a father, we had people help him, we had so many sentient beings were near to us and were helping us in our lives. So by that we see that I have been your mother, you have been my mother, I have been your lover, your friend, your caretaker, everything, and you have been mine. So we need to take away the distance that exists between ourselves and others. That's the first step. Once we take away the distance, and then we need to develop good empathy. And the question here, which was posed by Lama Tsongkhapa, is, okay, but in this process, how do you meditate? Forget about all sentient beings. For example, the dog that is outside there. How can you develop the same feeling that the dog has been your mother? The only way to do that is by understanding deeply reincarnation. By saying, yes, I have had infinite lives, countless lives. And in every life there was a mother, there was a father, there were teachers, there were friends, there were lovers, there were all sorts of people that were helping me. When I was an animal, when I was in all sorts of lives. So, everyone is near to me. Once we develop this feeling that we take away the distance between us and others, then we start to observe how every sentient being, as it was our mother, they were very kind to us. If my friends, my family, my teachers, first of all my parents, my mother, my father in this life are very kind to me, what about other lives? They were also kind to me. So we start to develop the feeling of kindness, of recognizing the kindness of others. Remember that all this process is not an intellectual process. Understanding it, it's easy. We need to meditate upon it so that this comes from our heart. It comes something inside. So we direct our mind in this way, and then slowly, slowly it will come spontaneously within ourselves. The strong determination that we feel that anyone has been our mothers. We feel the kindness from every sentient being. And then we develop the strong determination, I must do something to help them. They have helped me. Imagine someone that have helped us a lot in this life. Okay? And then suddenly we find this person in the most difficult situation. Do we have the duty to help that person? Yes. Similar to that, it's like, what happened if someone have saved my life and have helped me in so many ways, and suddenly I find this person drowning in the water in front of me? Should I go to help? Yes. Sentient beings are drowning in the water of samsara around us, and they have helped us so much. So, we develop this strong determination, I must do something to help them. Okay? And from that, we start to develop empathy, sympathy to them, love. I wish them to be happy. What can I do to repay them? I need to make them happy. I need to do something for their happiness. And here we develop love. From love, it comes automatically the fact that looking at them and saying, I don't want them to suffer. So then we develop compassion. From compassion, we develop the determination, I must do something myself for them to stop suffering. That's too much suffering around me. I must do something myself for that. And so from that, we develop the determination to help them, laksam, the extraordinary attitude, extraordinary mind. And from that, we see, what can I do really to help every sentient being to get out of suffering as I am right now? Do I have the abilities to do that? No. So I must develop my own qualities in order to help every sentient being. And that's bodhicitta. Okay? In the moment that the two aspirations of bodhicitta, the two intentions of bodhicitta has two intentions, which actually is one. There is one intention that it develops into a second one, okay? But to make it more easy to understand, we call it two intentions. When we go debating on it, philosophically speaking, it's not two intentions. One mind cannot have two intentions, but to make it more simple to understand, we call it two intentions. Simkyepa Nishinden Chiri Anda Zope Janju De, as said by Asanga, as by Buddha Maitreya in the text written by Asanga, Abhisamaya Lankara. It says, Simkyepa Nishinden Chir, the generation of the mind of bodhicitta, Simkyepa Nishinden Chir is for the benefit of others. Yanda Zope Janju De, and wishes the greatest state of enlightenment. Which means these are the two aspirations, the two intentions that bodhicitta has. The intention to help other sentient beings and the intention to reach enlightenment oneself, which actually are the same thing, because why I want to reach enlightenment? Because I want to help all sentient beings. So first we develop the spontaneous intention. Spontaneous means profound, deep, not conceptual intention, that may every sentient being be free from suffering, and I must do something to help them. And then from that, we develop the intention which we say, the only way how I can help others is reaching enlightenment myself. So we take care of ourselves because I need to reach enlightenment. But why do I want to reach enlightenment myself? Because I want to help others. Okay? So this is basically the process that we have here to develop bodhicitta. Okay? And it's just not thinking, oh yes, all sentient beings have been my mother. No, we need to really deeply experience that. How? By reflecting again and again on the process of reincarnation. When we have clear in our mind how many lives we have had, which are countless, then by that we can start to feel that all sentient beings have been our mother, have been near to us. We start to take away distance between us and others. Okay. So, we'll go to the next question. And just remembering when Lama Tsongkhapa said that we need to, first of all, before talking about all sentient beings, we need to start actually by looking at the dog that is on the door. No? Remember that in Tibet at a time, 600 years ago, dogs were not treated as they are treated today in society. They were there outside, people used to give food to them, they were guarding the house, but that was all. No? Like Lama Ganchen one time, he made a joke saying to me, oh, you know, people in the West nowadays, they treat the dogs like us Tibetan, we treat tulkus. Like the way how we take care of the reincarnation of the lamas, which is the most way how people take care with most respect and care. That's what people, how they do even more for the dogs nowadays, which was just somehow comment. No, it's not a criticism, just a comment. But the fact is that we cannot, what Lama Tsongkhapa puts clear here, is that we should not have a general mind, oh, I must love all sentient beings have been my mother, generally. We need to think, okay, this mosquito has been my mother. This person in front of me has been my mother. I go to the restaurant, here, the waiter has been my mother. If we are not able to develop this for the specific beings around us, how can we do that for all sentient beings? That's impossible. We will just keep a generalized mind of the idea of compassion for everyone, which is fake. So what the point Lama Tsongkhapa brings is we need to start training it on every sentient being that is around us, not just generalizing it. Okay, so now let's go to the question number 9. Yanda shenje gomshe yang dakshenje yang dakshenje gomshe sombe jeluk yang kain suke rangdang pake shen nibo jewala mikpa tongwa yinam tele shen chikyo tambo yina te gomba kain niba yina damga terang kain dakshen jewara sombe te dakni shendan shendak tu gomba malak chunjuk le dakni kyunche shenla yang yönden gyatur sheche ne danzin yongsum torwadan shenlang wani kombracha shedan shenyang teni le jikden dewa chinyepa tekun shende döle chung jikden dunga chinyepa tekun rangde döle chung mangdu she da chi götte chiba rangi tönche dang tuba shengi tönzepa teni gini kebar dö sung shi rangni chenzin di göba kungi jungne dang shenam chenzin yönden ki jungne chokdu sheche te rangni chebar zimba dang shenam yalwar torwelo kösa jene gombe tar rangdön yalwar torneni shendön bashi drubechir zogbe janchu semkepa yanda dakshen jewe gomsu yin. So beautiful in verses in Tibetan. Okay, we go to the English. So question number 9 by the great Lama Tsongkhapa. Moreover, what is the mode of exchanging based on the teaching that says, meditate on exchanging oneself with others? Let me just check one thing here. Yeah, correct. A. Is it to focus on exchanging oneself, this side, for the other who is on the other side? So the question number 8 is, how do we need to meditate on exchanging oneself with others? Is it just putting ourselves in the place of the other one and putting the other one in our place? It's like imagining us on the place of the other. No? Is it to focus on exchanging oneself for the other who is on the other side? Or is there another way of thinking? Or is there another way of meditating on it? If it were the first way, what would the idea of that opinion be? Sorry. If it were the first way, what would be the idea of that option be? Suke randam pake shenyibo jewa mikpada tele shenchigyo tangbo yina di gongba kangyin, which means what would be the idea? It means like if it should be on the first way, that exchanging oneself with others means you should imagine yourself in the place of the other person. So if it would be like this, how should you do this meditation? What's the idea of this option? How should it be? How should you do this meditation? If it were the second way, if there is any other meaning of doing it, then what would that very instruction be? Okay. Actually, by the question, we can understand clear that if question A, it's wrong. That's not the way of doing it, okay? So Lama Tsongkhapa said, okay, is it just imagining you are in the place of the other person? Which also Lama Tsongkhapa is showing here that many people used to do this mistake. Imagining that exchanging oneself with others means just imagining oneself into others' shoes, no? Imagining oneself into the place of the other person. And that's not the technique. That's not the method to develop bodhicitta. So, which is the method? That's the question. Then, luckily here we have Panchen Rinpoche giving us the answer in a very clear way. And he says, the meaning of exchanging oneself for others does not mean that one meditates on oneself as the other and others as oneself. So, first of all, it doesn't mean for us imagining ourselves in the situation of the other person. Okay? That's not what it means to do this meditation. It is rather
as suggested by Shantideva in the Bodhisattva Charyavatara, the Bodhisattva's way of life. And here he cites the words from Bodhisattva Charyavatara that says, having seen the faults of cherishing myself, of selfishness, and the ocean of good qualities of cherishing others, I should completely forsake self-cherishing and become familiar with cherishing others. And further, the same text says, all the happiness that there is in the world arises from wishing others to be happy. And all the suffering that there is in this world arises from wishing oneself to be happy. But what need is there to say it at length? The childish work only for themselves, whereas the Buddhas work only for others. Just look at the difference between the two. As it has just been said, know that cherishing oneself is the source of all ruin, and cherishing others is the best source of excellent qualities. Then meditate by exchanging the position of the awareness which cherishes oneself and that which gives up to others, and that which gives up the others. So, then meditate by exchanging the position of the awareness which cherishes oneself and the position of that which gives up others, which gives up the others. At the end of that, give up one's own interest and procure only the interest of others. For this, generating a mind towards complete enlightenment is the technique of meditating on exchanging oneself for others. Okay. So, what's the point here? What do we mean by exchanging oneself with others? And actually, the complete name of the practice, of the technique, is called equalizing and exchanging oneself with others. Dakshinyamje. Okay? So the process is first, we should equalize ourselves with others. Equalizing ourselves with others means not saying we are all the same, there is no difference, okay, we are all with the same rights and we are all exactly the same. We are different, aren't we? We are all very different in many ways. But we all suffer, we all wish to be happy. So the first level of equalizing us, it means that there is no more value, it means that my happiness is not more important than yours, and your happiness is not more important than mine. It means that my suffering is not more important than yours, and your suffering is not important than mine. Because the first tendency that we have when we talk about developing compassion and love towards others is to think that when I do something for others, I am sacrificing myself. When I do something for myself, I feel guilty because I'm not taking care of others. Okay? The first objective is to understand that when I am doing something for myself, I am doing it for others. When I'm doing something for others, I'm doing it for myself. We should make no more difference between oneself and others. This is the main objective. So, your happiness is important for me. My happiness is important for me. They are on the same level. Your suffering is as important as my suffering. Which means, in order to help others, I need to be well. So when I do something for myself, I am doing something for others. But your happiness is so important for me that when I'm doing something for you, I am also doing it for myself. It's not a sacrifice at all. Okay? So the first step is to equalize ourselves with others. And we do that by reflecting on the fact that we all suffer, we all want to be happy. There is no difference in that sense between any one of us. Then, what we do in the meditation, through the practice of Tonglen, which is taking and giving, what we do through this practice is that we need to exchange the position. It's not exchange oneself with others in the sense of putting ourselves in the place of others. It's we need to take one attitude that we have two attitudes. Self-cherishing, which means the obsession with our own, with self-gratification. I and mine. So we constantly protect the I and the mine. Okay? And then we give up on others. Others, I don't care. Indifference, aversion. Okay? Isn't it like that? Out of this attitude, we have, for example, the 9 objects. The 9 objects are, we have 3 types of friends, 3 types of enemies, and 3 types of neutral people. Which is, we have those that are being of benefit for ourselves, they become our friends. Those that are benefiting our friends are our friends. Those that are harming our enemies are our friends. Okay? Then, those that are harming us are our enemies. Okay? Those that harm our friends, also our enemies. And those that are benefiting our enemies are our enemies also. Those that are not helping or harming or benefiting our friends and our enemies are neutral. We don't care about them. We are totally indifferent. Normally, in our selfish, childish way of being, who are those that we like? Those that are of benefit for the I and the my, or are harmful for my enemies. That's how it is. And out of selfishness, how do we relate to people? We have another 3 ways of relating also, which is a result of selfishness. We relate with arrogance towards those that have less. With how do you say in English, competitiveness? We put ourselves in competition. Competitiveness with those that are equal. And with arrogance and with envy towards those that have more. Okay? I'm sorry, but I think we quite recognize ourselves in this situation. No? So when there is someone that have less, we have arrogance. Less beautiful, less intelligent, less spiritual, less whatever. Less humble. Okay? So I am better than you because I am more humble than you. I am better than you because I am more beautiful, because I am more rich, because I am more intelligent, because I am more spiritual, because I am more this, because I am more that. So I feel arrogance. When I find someone that is as beautiful as me, I must show that I am better. We put ourselves in competition. When I see someone that is in the same level of attention or whatever, I must show that I get more. I must show that I'm better. We put ourselves in competition. When there is someone that has more, is more beautiful, more humble, more spiritual, more whatever, then we have envy. I have aversion towards you because you have something that I would like to have and I don't have. Okay? It's not enough the suffering that I don't have what I wanted. I even generate aversion out of that. It's really not sane. But anyhow, that's how we act out of selfishness. Okay? So, and we relate to the world within these 3 main categories, which becomes 9, which is friends, enemies, and indifferent. Okay? So, we have 2 very clear attitudes. The attitude of selfishness, which is the attitude of self-cherishing, of caring for the I and the mine. And the attitude of indifference, which sometimes becomes aversion towards others. Okay? Other means everyone that is not my friend. Friend means anyone that is beneficial for me, that I see that I have attraction towards. Okay? So what we need to exchange here is the attitude. So what we will take, imagine that I have here, this vase is one thing. Do I have something maybe a little bit? Oh, this is too beautiful to represent it. Something not beautiful. Okay, I will put this one. It's beautiful still, but at least you can see it better, okay? Okay, so we have, this is our self-cherishing. The self, the I. Not the self-cherish, sorry. This is the I. And this is others. Okay? Now what happens? We have somehow, okay, here is the mind of cherishing. So where is the mind of cherishing normally? On ourself. Okay, so on the I is this mind that cherishes. The I and the mind. And on others is empty. Nothing. Indifference. Aversion. Not even aversion, mostly indifference. We don't care about others. We give up on them. Okay? What means exchanging oneself with others? We keep others here and oneself here. We take the attitude of cherishing and we put on others. We take the attitude of indifference and we put it on the self. We exchange the attitude. Okay? Like, we take one attitude and we bring here. We exchange the attitude. We exchange the position. That's what we are supposed to do. So we start cherishing others and not caring for selfishness. And not caring for only the I and the my. In order to do this correct, we must first see that there is no difference really between I and others. When I do something for myself, I am doing it for others. When I do something for others, I am doing it for myself. Okay? The happiness of others is as important as mine. The suffering of others is as important as mine. So I take the attitude of cherishing and I put on others. I take the attitude of indifference and I put it on selfishness, actually. Okay? So by making this exchange through meditation, finally what I develop, I get near to others. I see that others and myself, there is no difference finally. And so I have a sensation, an attitude of love, of compassion, of a determination to help everyone. Because do I have a determination to help myself? Do I want to get free from suffering or not? Yes, I do. If I get the smallest type of suffering, do I do anything to avoid it? Yes. So I take that attitude and I put on others. That's what we need to do. Okay? It's exchanging oneself with others. Is it clear? Okay? So it's not visualizing I am in the place and position of others. It's not that. It's we take the attitude that we have, strong attitude of selfishness, which is okay. The only problem is the position. The attitude of cherishing is wonderful. But we need to take and we simply need to expand it. And we take that attitude of cherishing and we put it on others. And we start cherishing others as we cherish ourselves. And we stop avoiding others. We stop having indifference towards others. And instead we start avoiding the selfishness towards ourselves. Okay, is it clear? Okay. So as the text here says, then, and to do that, one of the bases of doing it is understanding that actually, selfishly speaking, it's better to be altruistic. All the suffering of this world, all the suffering of our lives, this is not, I'm not metaphorically speaking, and this is not a joke, something very serious. Every suffering that we have ever experienced is coming from the grasping at our own happiness. It's coming from self-cherishing. It's coming from the childish, selfish way of being. Okay. Have you ever got angry without selfishness behind? Have you ever got jealous or envy or any other mental disturbing emotions where the selfishness was not behind? No. So every suffering that exists in the universe, in existence, is coming from selfishness. And every well-being, every joy is coming from love. Okay. So, it's actually so simple. So simple. If we understand this, What we do? I don't want this for me. Let's give for others. Why? Because I want to be happy. So finally, we use our own selfishness in order to eliminate selfishness. If we understand deeply that, selfishly speaking, taking care of ourselves, it's better to be altruistic. It's like, for example, do we like to be loved? Yes. It's maybe one of the main concerns of our lives, no? We want to be cared, we want to be loved. People would give up anything in order to be loved. But the point is that the sensation of love is one of the greatest things that we could ever experience. But one thing we need to understand is that it's much, much better to love than to be loved. It's good to be loved, but it's thousands, millions of times stronger to love others. So when we open our heart, and if feeling love brings us so much joy, it makes our life meaningful, it fills ourselves, we feel completely, things make sense. We are fulfilled. If loving is something so wonderful, why we need to put it only to one or two persons? Why can't we open it towards everyone? That's the best that we can do for ourselves and others. It's just a matter of changing some direction inside of us. Why can I love one person and not love the other? Why? For what reason? Here there is a difference between love and desire. Which means I desire you, which means I must have your presence, I must have your attention, I must be near to you in order for me to be happy. I desire you. I love you, I wish you to be happy. But once we understand the power of love, once we understand how strong this emotion is within ourselves, how much joy and happiness it gives by cherishing others, by loving others. Cherishing others and loving others basically is the same. And once we understand how harmful it is to us only to think about our own well-being, about the I and the mind, this obsession with self-gratification. You know, as Shantideva put so clear, what's the need? I don't need to explain it so long, so much in length. The childish work only for themselves, whereas the Buddha work only for others. Just look at the difference between one and the other. Who is well and who is not well? Okay? We don't need to go to look the Buddhas like more abstractly. Just look, we have a life example, which is our Guru, Lama Ganchen. We look to Rinpoche. Okay, what is his priority? The well-being of others. And is he a stable person, happy, joyfully? Yes. And then we have another thousands of examples of people that are constantly complaining, unhappy, suffering, like if they were being tortured, while they are not. But they are being tortured by their own selfishness. That's where all of this is coming from. Even depression is the result of selfishness. If we are able simply to understand this, it's such a liberation. We don't need to realize it, just understand it for a beginning. Just make an objective. I must love others. That's much better for me. Let's stop with this childish, stupid way of only thinking about I and my. Because it's simply not working. Would it work? Wonderful. But it doesn't work. I have never seen one person that has reached a state of happiness, satisfaction, stability through selfishness. I've never seen anyone. I've seen people with a lot of power, a lot of money, a lot of pleasure, many things, but full of conflicts. What I have seen is that I've seen people with happiness, with stability, which comes through the mind of loving others. So finally, let's do what works, no? Are we selfish or not? Do we care about ourselves? Yes. So at least let's be selfish in a good way, no? Let's do it in a way that it works. Which means let's care for others. But it must be sincere. But if we simply understand, it's actually so simple. But we are conditioned for such a long time in a different way. But if we could simply understand that every suffering without exception that each and every one of us have ever experienced in this and any other lives, and every suffering that we see around us is a result of selfishness. Directly and indirectly. And if we understand that every well-being is a result of love, of cherishing for others, then we start to really make such a change. Okay? Yes, Tutla. You mean... Mm-hmm. Yeah? Okay. Now what happened is the following. In the moment that we accept suffering as a fact of a result of something that we have done, it becomes much, 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 much weaker. Because a great part of our suffering comes from the not accepting suffering and from the fear of suffering. So if I have pain as a result of something I have done in the past, okay. Let's create the causes for it not to happen again. Okay? But in the moment that we accept reality in this way, and we stop having fear of suffering, then we suffer much less. Because if we observe ourselves, most of our suffering comes from the fear of suffering and not accepting the situations in which we find ourselves. Okay? So in the moment that we understand that our suffering is coming from our own selfishness, so we stop fighting against others when in the moment that we are suffering, this already makes our own suffering much less. Okay? And we stop creating new causes for suffering also, which is very important. Okay? Because one thing is like this, even if I take away completely selfishness, I still have created many causes in the past, no? So they can still manifest. I can have a moment where I have no more selfishness, but I still can have negative results. Because I made many causes in the past, and they still can manifest at a certain point. But the main thing for us to understand is that every suffering we have ever experienced, it's coming from selfishness, without any doubt, without any exception. And every well-being, every joy, every moment of everything that is positive, every happiness is a result of love. So why to love only one or two or three? Why can't we expand this love? So in order to do that, we exchange our attitude of cherishing, and we start cherishing everyone. And we stop cherishing only myself. What we give up is the cherishing of only the I and the my. We put everyone in the same level, and we cherish everyone in the same way. Okay? And this, if we are able to do this, life becomes so much more simple and easy. So much more simple and easy. You have no idea. Because we suffer so much because, then I cherish myself and I cherish my friend. Then my friend is not anymore cherishing me in the way I think he's supposed to do. So he's not anymore my friend. So I stop cherishing him. And then here and there. And then I accept him to love me in a way that he's not loving me in the way how I accept him to love me. So I stop loving you. No need. In the moment that we open our heart for others, sincerely, deeply, it's a gradual process, but it's possible. Life simply becomes beautiful, simple, easy, light. So that's what we want, no? So we need to exchange oneself with others. Okay. There is one verse from Bodhisattva Charavatara, which is verse, I think, between number 95 and 96, or 94 and 95 of the 8th chapter. And the verse says something like this. I don't remember literally, but it says like that. From the moment that every sentient being around me wants to be happy just in the same way that I want, what do I have that I am so special that I only care for my happiness? In the moment that everyone around me wants to be free from suffering just the same exact way that I want to be free from suffering, what is there so special about me that I only take care of? What's the answer? Nothing. The answer is I am childish, ignorant. That's all. Because if we really think, why is my happiness so special? What do I have that I am so special that my happiness is more important than yours? Or than anyone else? Nothing. What do I have so special that my suffering is more important than yours? Nothing. And if we put this together with the fact that cherishing only the I and the my creates all the suffering, let's exchange ourselves with others. Like priority in our life. It's not just a practice of meditation that someday, somehow, maybe we will do. It's priority. Because I want to be happy and I want others to be happy. Okay. So, I would like to conclude this morning with one term, a word that is very beautiful, which is a word in Sanskrit, which is called, it's mitra. Mitra means friend in Sanskrit. Okay? And the word mitra, which goes for friend, is actually coming from the Sanskrit word maitri, which means love. Okay? So who is a friend? A friend is a person that loves the other one. So who is my friend? Is the one who loves me independently of what I do towards him. So a friend, I am a friend of someone in the moment that I love this person and I wish him to be happy, and I will do everything I can for him to be happy, independently if he loves me or not, without wanting anything back. A friend is not a person that is nice to us. No, sorry. What I want to say is, who is my friend? Who is the people to whom I should give friendship? I am not going to be friend of someone that is nice to me, someone that do what I want to do or act in the way I think should supposed to act. These are not going to. My friends are all those that I wish to be happy. And I love you. I want you to be happy. Why? Because I love you and because you exist, and that's all. You're a friend. So friendship is not simply an exchange of, okay, you do favors to me, I do. That's the very infantile way of seeing, selfish way of seeing friendship. You are my friend up to the moment that you do what I want you to do. You act in the way how I think you should act. So you are my friend. In the moment that you are not doing anymore what I think you should do, you are not acting more anymore in the way I think you should act, what happens? You are not anymore my friend. So I am not anymore yours. A true friend, according to Buddhism, is the one that loves the other. The one that wishes to be him to be happy, independently of him. Rinpoche is a friend. I have seen so many times. What's the attitude that Rinpoche teaches us? I am your friend. If you want to be, that's your problem. I will act correctly. I will act with love. I will care for your happiness. If you care for my happiness or not, that's not my problem. Why? Because I cannot make it happen. So a bodhisattva is the one that puts himself with true friendship to every sentient being. He says, I love you all. I wish you, everyone, to be happy, and I don't expect anything from you. Just the possibility to love you. To be a bodhisattva is one of the greatest goals that we can actually put in our lives. And it's not impossible. But it's not coming like this. One of the greatest methods is exchanging ourselves with others. And as we do it, as we put energy on that, then gradually it will come. But in order to do that, we must ask for help. For Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, for the Guru. That means taking refuge. That means saying, I cannot do it just by myself. So please, Guru Buddha, help me. Show me the path to develop bodhicitta. Show me the path to reach enlightenment for the benefit of all. Be by my side. I take refuge in the Buddha that shows me the path. I take refuge in my own potential of enlightenment, the Buddha that one day I will become. I take refuge in the Dharma, the spiritual medicine, the path that I will follow. I take refuge in my own daily spiritual practice. I take refuge in the spiritual company. I take refuge in the ability that I have of helping others and the Sangha that one day I will become. And finally, actually it's the first, but I explain it last to understand better, I take refuge in the Guru. The Guru is the embodiment of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Okay? So, by taking refuge, we create this connection and we give, and the main aspect of refuge is taking refuge in the Dharma, which is I want to develop myself in my spiritual path. And then we have the Hinayana refuge, in which I say, I take refuge because I want to get out of suffering. And the Mahayana refuge, in which I say, I take refuge because I must reach enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, and just by myself I am not able. So please guide me. Please take me hand by hand. Please, because I am blind out of my own ignorance. And you, Guru Buddha, your eyes are already opened by your wisdom. So please guide me. Please take my hand and show me the path. So slowly, slowly, I can open my eyes and I can guide others. Okay? So this is what we call taking refuge, and it's very important. I just explained this also because I would like to conclude with a short ceremony of taking refuge, as one of our friends made this request of giving the vow of refuge. Actually, refuge is something that goes deeply within ourselves, okay? But we have the tradition to formalize our refuge. So when we take refuge formally, it means also like, okay, we are part of a spiritual family. We recognize in the teacher who we request to take refuge as our guide. We create a commitment to follow the path, and the teacher, in this case, the spiritual guide, the Guru, creates the commitment to guide on such spiritual path also, okay? So when we take refuge, we can take refuge with many masters. Lama Tsongkhapa had more than 100. The important thing is that when we are in the beginning of the path, the less number of masters we have, the better. Otherwise, we create confusion. The more we move along the path, the more we grow, the more masters we have, the better, because then we have the stability in the Dharma, and then we can move along better on our path. Okay? So for those that have taken refuge before, we will just our vows of refuge. For those that it's important that it's something that is deep and sincere in ourselves. Those that don't feel like taking refuge, it's wonderful. And for those that have made a request to take refuge, you could come here also. And then we do the taking refuge of now. So, who likes to take refuge? So do 3 prostrations first. If you like to take refuge or to renew your vow of refuge, you to do 3 prostrations first. Then you can sit with the right knee on the floor and the left knee up. So you can sit on your right leg. No? Yeah. It's like if we knee, because when we knee, it's like making request. No? So you imagine it, above myself is my Guru, above the Guru, my Guru is the Guru of my Guru, up to reach to Buddha Shakyamuni. From the heart of each one of them, there is a flow of light that comes to my heart, and then from my heart we go to the heart of every one of you. As we make the deep request of taking refuge, it's like a child asking for help. We ask Guru Buddha, please help me, please embrace me, please take me on the path to enlightenment, so I may be able to reach enlightenment for the benefit of each and every sentient being. Okay? So we visualize this light that comes from the heart of Buddha Shakyamuni, going through each and every one of the gurus of the lineage, Panchen, through my heart, and from my heart. And then this will create this very strong connection. So we will repeat it 3 times after me, and after the 3rd time, I will make a question which says, this is the method, and you answer, so it be, lexo. Okay? So I ask, tabino, you answer lexo, but I will explain it again. So we just remind that at the time of the third time that you repeat after me, the refuge will actually, if we had already taken refuge before, it is reestablished. If we before, we have received the vows of refuge. We have this commitment which becomes stable and deep within ourselves. Namo Gurubhye, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Gurubhye, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Gurubhye, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Triratnaya, Sangye Chodang, Tsogi Chonamla, Chanchu Bhardo, Dani Kyabsuchi, Dagi Jinso, Give Sonamgi, Drola Pencher, Sangye Drubarsho. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, I take refuge in enlightenment. Through the practice of generosity and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. Now I do the question tabyino, which means this is the method, and you answer lexo, so it be. Then I snap my fingers, and from that moment we perceive, we imagine that the vow of refuge have been reestablished, we have received it, and this strong connection is there between us and Guru Buddha. Tabyino. Now we sit normally. As we recite the taking of refuge, Guru Buddha is in front of us. From his 5 chakras, light emanates, absorbing into our 5 chakras, purifying our negativities, revitalizing our qualities, and establishing this strong and deep connection between us and Guru Buddha. Namo Gurubhye, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Gurubhye, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Gurubhye, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Triratnaya. Angye Chedan Tsogi Chonamla, Chanchu Bhardo Dani Kyabsuchi, Dagi Jinso Gibe Sonamgi, Drola Penchira Sangye Drupar,
Sangye chedan soge chonamla chancho pardo dani kyapsu chi dagi jinso gibe sonamgi trola pinchira sangye drupa Sangye chedan soge chona chancho pardo dani kyapsu chi dagi chinso gibe sonam drola pinchira sang druparasho. In the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, I take refuge until enlightenment. Through the practice of generosity and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. Nimo dele tsendele, nime kunyan delekshi, ninsen takto delekpe, concho sum madrotso, concho sumge trashisho. At dawn or dusk, at night or midday, may the three jewels grant us their blessings. May they help us to achieve all realizations and sprinkle the path of our lives with various signs of auspiciousness. So in this way we conclude the taking of refuge. Now, for those that have not taken refuge before and that took now, there is the tradition of giving a name. The name that we give, it represents different things. It represents like being reborn into a new life. It represents which is the life to reach enlightenment for the benefit of others. It represents being part of a spiritual family. And also, it represents our own potential of enlightenment. Okay?